My apologies for the late submission for week 2. I had a lot going on yesterday, and this weekend.
You ain't the only one. Seems like only one person got their stuff in on time.
Yeah, because I was really trying to get it in on time.
You guys hear me? Hey. Hi guys, how you guys doing this afternoon?
Hey.
Hi.
I hear an echo. Can you hear it? Oh man. Oh, okay, it's good.
Yeah, I think we all have to go on mute. If not, you're gonna hear echo.
Okay. Okay, waiting for one more of the companies to join, and then we will get started. Oh, Lawlins, I have went over your work and provided feedback inside of the document. You probably didn't have time to look at it because, you kind of just turned it in, and I kind of just looked at it as soon as you did it. So if you haven't seen it while we wait for Gwen and Gillum to join, you can just take a look at it if you want to. You don't have to right now.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, here's a disclaimer. It is raining. You know I'm in Ghana. When it rains, the electricity goes out. So if the electricity goes out and the internet goes kaput completely, not just, a little bit, the session will have to cease. I will send out an email and ask you do certain things, and then I will add this until next week's content and cover it again next week. And that's just in case the power goes out. Just warning everybody in advance because the rain just started. But, we might have a good day. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. What time is it? Okay. All right, so everyone is here. Let me add them into the room. Okay. Can I see this right now? Let's see.
Quick question for you, Kalea. Can you hear me, Kalea?
Yes, ma'am.
The changes that you made, I'm trying to figure out how to see them. Are they highlighted words? Are they just
I did. Guys, put yourself on mute. Okay, I didn't make changes. What I did is make comments inside of it. So you should be able to see a highlighted word in each section. So the highlighted word would be within your answer response. And then if you click on it, it should pop up with my comment. Like, I had to leave it as a comment, what my feedback is. So like, for instance, if I liked something that was great, I might have written one word. If you scroll down, then you'll see other highlighted ones, and then there's more content there in the comment. Do you see it? Okay, all right, great. Okay, so since we're all here, I'm going to go ahead and jump into what we're going to do today. After reflecting on what we talked about last week and for the past 2 weeks, I want to, or I had decided to switch around what we're going to cover in week 3. And I want to cover and talk with you guys about the customer problem statement. And I want to talk to you guys about building teams, because we were talking last week about employees. And I think maybe we should go in a little bit more in depth about that, especially if you have like questions or scenario case type questions when it comes to employees. But I think that would be good for us to go through. So I switched week 7 with week 3 in a sense. If you're following that timetable that I had gave initially in the email, for this week, we would have been talking about pitches. I decided to move that, and instead we're talking about building teams. So inside of your folder, inside of the Google Drive folder for week 3, you all should have access. For everyone, I used a Gmail email to give you access to that folder. So everyone this time around this week, let's pray, Lord Jesus, Black baby Jesus, let them have access. I hope so. I struggle to make sure everybody has access. Gwen, darling, good evening. How are you in Gillum tonight? And if he's not there, how are you, my dear?
I'm fine. He's on his way. I think he's stuck in the bus or something. That's
no
why.
worries. No worries, no worries. We love seeing you. So thank you so much for joining us, and he'll pop on when he gets here. That sounds good. Okay, so I want to let you guys know, those of you who turned in your dev plans, I gave you feedback, which I was just telling Felicia and Michael. The feedback will appear as a comment inside of your document. So Gwen, I looked at the first company, which was the one for the agribusiness. And if you pull up that business dev plan, you will see, if you look at your answer for the first question, you will see a word that's highlighted. If you click on it, you should be able to see my comment, which is like my feedback that I give. And then that way you guys can look it over. Now, I still have to do the feedback for the real estate company. Sorry, go ahead.
You're talking about week 1 or week 2? The feedback you put
Oh, I'm
it
sorry.
on
Week 2.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Week 2. Week 2, the business development plan. And the reason why I'm going over this collectively is because as we move forward, guys, you're going to see certain assignments. I'm going to give you feedback that isn't group feedback. It will be feedback that's just written directly to you, so that when we have our office hours, we can discuss it. And or if it's something that I see a consistent pattern amongst everyone, then we'll have group discussion about it. So if I did not receive your business development plan before today, I think the last time I looked at it was 3 o'clock. So before 3 o'clock today, then you don't have any feedback from me because I didn't see it inside of your folder. If it's there, then of course I'll look at it later on. I'm not going to do it today, but I'll look at it later on in the week and give you feedback. Marlon, I see your face looking like inquisitive, but I haven't gotten a business development plan back from you. I don't see it in your folder. So
I shared it with you. I shared it with you. I don't know what happened to it.
I don't see it. If you see it right now, can you please try to put it in your folder, because I don't see one for you. And your shared folder, only you and I can see. So like the other businesses, they can't see everyone else's. They just see their folder, and then I see everyone's folder.
Okay, I'll try to put it in. Gosh.
Please, please. Okay, so while we're doing that, Misha, we already discussed what's going on with yours at the very beginning, so I don't really need to cover that again. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the revenue model before we talk about building teams. And the reason why I want to talk about revenue model is because this is how will your company make money. Now, the good thing is that I had some discussions over office hours, and you guys were very patient. That one day where I couldn't even get a connection, and me and Marlon were going through tag for like 30, 45 minutes to just get a connection. I did wind up talking to several of you within the Wednesday and Thursday. And so we talked about your businesses, some pivots that might be happening, some changes that might be happening, but also how you plan on making money. And I would like to talk about that again as a collective, about how your company will make money. Now, remember, I asked this question about making money, like how do you plan on making money for your business? In the first homework assignment, which was your business checklist. And that, I believe, was more towards the middle of the checklist or towards the bottom. How do you plan on making money? Gwen, is Gillum not with you? What's going on? I see him here separately. What is happening? Gillum, why are you not with Gwen? I'm so confused. What is going on?
Not today. Okay. Next time we'll be together.
Okay. Y'all got me on this one. Y'all got me. Okay, no problem. Welcome, Gillum. I'm just discussing with them how each business plans to make money. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with that discussion. So it's important for us to talk about how you plan on making money for your business. Even if your business is still in the idea stage, you still need to be having an idea of how you plan on making money. Those of you who are changing up your business a bit, or even changing your business completely, it's important to solidify your business beyond the idea stage into a full business that you want to do by week 5. We are in week 3. So you need to be able to decide firmly what you want to focus on for this program. Don't give up the other businesses you want to do, because remember, I'm always talking about multiple streams of income. But for the program, we have to narrow it down to be more effective. So for your business idea or business that you have or will be bringing to Ghana, let's talk about how you plan on making some money. So I want to get more specific. I want to know what you think would be best for you. Do you want to use one of the traditional business models, like subscription-based, or have someone pay for a specific physical product, over your app, if you have a mobile app, or over your website, and they're paying for a physical item from you? Or do you plan on or want to try to develop your own revenue model? Because remember, I told you revenue models don't have to be set in stone. Uber was the example I used. Airbnb was an example I used. Those revenue models didn't even exist until those businesses came on the scene. So I just would like to hear from you about how you plan on making money for your business. And then, guys, I really would like for us to have a discussion and not for me to just be lecturing at you or lecturing just to one company. Okay, just to one company. I want us to be talking as a collective, because we'll work better if we're sharing ideas amongst each other and giving feedback to each other. So who wants to go first? Yeah, everybody don't volunteer at one time. I just love the excitement in the room. Somebody better say something. Come on. Black people. Am I
frozen? We'll go first.
Hello?
All right. Hello.
Am I frozen? I just saw Felicia move. I know I ain't frozen. I know I ain't frozen.
Yeah, we're going first. Can you hear me? Can you hear us? Hello? Hello? Okay, so Misha can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Thank you. I think Kalea is frozen. One moment.
Something's wrong.
Okay, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
As you can see, I'm having connection issues. Dang, okay. Please, no, something. I'm trying to see which internet. I'm going to mute myself, Felicia.
Did she say go ahead and go or go ahead and talk? Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to read what we have. We did model 1 and model 2. And we're not saying that this is going to work in Africa.
No.
Oh, don't go.
No. I just want you to talk about what it is you're doing. How you plan on making money. It's more of a conversation.
Okay.
You don't have to read it.
So what we already do with our current business is we have 2 models. The first one is we usually have a set of packages, pre-made packages with already with the price already figured out. And so customers usually pick from that package. If they don't like any of the packages with the pre-made prices, we give them a customized quote based on meeting with them, really figuring out what they want and using an hourly rate. So we give them a quote. We require 50% down before any work starts. After 50% down, we start the project, and then we require another 50% down before the project is finished. That's model 1. So that's like a one-time project thing. Now, usually the customers that we have, also want us to maintain what we built for them. So sometimes they do it in-house, sometimes not, but most of the time they're like, yeah, you can maintain it for us. So we have something called ongoing maintenance plans, where those are a specific set of hours that are attached to each maintenance plan. So say 10 hours a month. I didn't put all this in there, but basically 10 hours a month at our rate, at a reduced rate actually, because they're a current customer, so we would give them a reduced rate. So they would be paying us monthly. So customers right now pay us monthly for maintaining their websites. They pay us monthly for maintaining their network that Michael built. And so again, I'm not saying that's going to work in Africa. I'm just saying that that's what we put down because that's been successful. So if we need to alter that for Africa, so be it. But 2 plans to make money, two revenue streams.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and mute for me, please.
Oh, mute. Okay.
Okay, I think what you're talking about is good. I do have some follow-up questions, and for the rest of the founders, if you have any questions yourself or any feedback, I would love to hear it so that we can have discussions. The first question I have, though, is about the payment. Now, is that considered a payment plan, or is that like a membership type of thing, or are you doing like a retainer, like you're making someone pay a
So the simplest example is, let's say we built a shopping cart for somebody, or we built a website with the shopping cart in it, right? And they want us, instead of maintaining that website in-house, they want us to maintain it every month for them. So they have text changes, they have image changes, they have code changes, application coding changes that they can't make, obviously, because they don't have the talent in-house. So what we do is say, hey, you get, 10 hours, 4 to 10 hours? 4 to 10 hours per month. And if you go over that 10 hours, if you don't use those 10 hours, you still pay us because we're giving you 10 hours. So there are some companies who, they might skip a month in sending us changes, but it doesn't change the price. It's sort of a subscription then. So it's 10 hours every month. You're paying us for whether you use it or not. Use it or lose it, but you're paying us. Does that answer? So the same thing with the network. A bigger company, Michael has to maintain their network. So a bigger company might require 10 to 20, not 10, not that many hours, but they might require more site visits for him to fix issues if he can't do it remotely. So that's a ongoing maintenance plan where they pay us no matter what. It's a contract signed that says, hey, forever until you decide to cancel with us, you're going to pay us a monthly fee. And so far, that's been successful.
Okay, so please mute. Okay, I think I understand it a bit better. You just explained both, the first one and then the second one, I believe. So basically for the maintenance plan, which is the second way that you'll make money, that sounds like a software license agreement. So they have an annual fee they have to pay. If anything happens, they need support of some sort, you're there to support them, right? I see your head shaking. Okay, all right. So, okay, I get it. Any questions, guys? Any feedback, any clarity that you might need? Because it could be helpful to your own businesses, understanding what they are doing and what they want to do here with their the training and consultancy company they have for cybersecurity and IT solutions. Is that right, guys? I said it right, hopefully. Shake your head or something so I can see. Okay, yes. So guys, we really need to talk about this as a group and not be silent. So I really would like some feedback from you all of what you think, if you understood the shopping cart example, or if you understood the maintenance example, because they did give two separate ways of making business. And the first one is initially getting that client and how the payments will go. And then the second one is retaining that client over time. Misha, you got any thoughts?
I have feedback. I think in Model 2, it should be simplified a little bit more because I understand what you're saying, but it also kind of blurs the line as subscription. And I believe you mentioned that in your explanation. So just for the consumer to, I guess, Model 2 simplify it or have a subscription plan as far as like level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on, because it kind of, kind of marries each other. So just a little, just for a consumer end, as far as what is in the ongoing maintenance, and just to make it a little more, just simplify that portion of it.
Okay, that's excellent. Thank you. Thank you. I see thumbs up.
Thank you. So I think I heard you say that is it really just about the verbiage, Misha? Changing it to subscription, using the word subscription or the word retainer instead of...
Or I guess differentiating what makes this not, or what makes it not a subscription plan, or is it different from a subscription? Because when I think of maintenance plan...
Mute. My connection is so bad today. Felicia, whenever someone talks, you have to mute because somehow you're making your connection is making it echo like crazy. My connection is super bad today. I don't know who was talking, but Felicia, whenever your mic is unmuted and someone else talks, the echo is so bad. So can you guys please go again? Like Felicia asked Misha a question. Misha, can you respond? But as you guys respond, please mute yourself if you're not talking.
What I was saying was a more simplistic explanation of what's included in the ongoing maintenance plans would be helpful. For instance, where it says annual service level agreement at various levels as well. Then it goes 1, 2, 3. If it's an ongoing maintenance plan, simplify what is included in level 1, 2, and 3's maintenance plan, because it sounds like they are subscribing to a plan. So is it, an annual, which is a yearly fee, or a monthly fee, just to give a more simplistic explanation as to what is offered in the Model 2. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Just to provide a little bit of clarity on it. Thank you for the feedback, Nisha. So it depends on the customer. Like we wouldn't advertise. I guess for this document, I didn't go into I would have created a table had this been our official corporate documents. There would have been a table that shows, okay, you can pay monthly. Some customers don't pay annually. Some customers pay monthly. So we didn't go into detail in this document because, we were just answering it generally. But yeah, we can definitely simplify the verbiage that's here. All right, I'm done muting.
All right, does anyone else have any questions about it? Marlon, please go.
Okay. So I think it's a good business model, definitely. I know a friend of mine had a subscription portion of his business, and he also did IT services, and he would always say to me that the subscription basically kept the lights on, right? So it brought in a whole lot of money. Um, but my main question on that is, I know doing business in the Caribbean, subscription is like a foreign concept to those folks. They feel as though they're paying for nothing sometimes. So I don't know if it's the same in Africa, or where folks just want to pay for absolutely the service that they receive, and they don't want to pay for warranties. They don't want to pay for subscriptions or anything of that sort. That's a question.
Yeah, so I'm going to answer that question the best that I can. I'm going to say that COVID has changed a lot of ways businesses are done here in Africa, and the perception that a lot of African businesses have toward working online, working remotely, and paying for things in a different way than what they're used to. Now, because in particular, I'm talking about Ghana, because this is going to be important to economies that are scaling and that are more stable in the African continent and have a growing middle class. When you have a growing middle class, you typically have banks that are giving out funding to organizations. When organizations have the ability to have some cash reserves, they are more likely to offer subscription bases and provide the education needed to educate the clients on what it is, how it works, and why it's important, and why, if you're doing business to business, you can use your business account to pay for these subscriptions for these type of services. Now, this may sound a bit rudimentary in a sense, it can, but most things here are just kind of like I told you guys before, just getting started, right? So subscription basis, warranties of any such, insurance as an industry as a whole, all these things are new. And so people don't typically do it, but they are doing it more and more now because of what happened with COVID, and how when they would normally allow people to fly in from different places, or pay for a service, you do a contract, you do a proposal, you get the contract, they tell you to come out, do the services, and then they pay you after the fact. Well, then you can't do it like that as much anymore because of all the travel restrictions, especially in tech, because most of the talent and information they're getting is coming from abroad anyway. So yes, it's a lot like the Caribbean, and yes, it's very new here, but yes, it can work because there's more and more people understanding the value of it. And because this economy is growing, the business sector is growing in different industries, it is definitely possible. You will, Black people, have an uphill battle. Just keep that in mind. Have a plan B, but I do believe it could work. It's just you would have to educate people more on the value and help them understand. And there's definite value if you're coming on site. If they know they can call you, if they know they can talk to you, if they know they can see you, that's added value. So yes, it can work. I hope that answered your question. If you have a follow-up, let me know.
Yes, thank you.
Guys, if I'm talking too fast, remember, slow me down, so that I can make sure, thanks, Glenn. It's important that we're all on the same page. So is there anything else? Anyone else want to say anything else?
I was going to say thank you, Marlon, for the feedback and asking the question. It's good to know that it works. It could work in Africa and Jamaica.
Okay, Marlon, so thank you. Let's see, Misha, how is, first you need to tell us which company you're going to talk about today, and then tell us how you plan on making money from that company, please. And you don't have to read it from your business development plan, and you can just speak on it. Just kind of talk about it like conversation, please.
Okay, everyone. Well, I made the decision to change my business plan, my business perspective to childcare. I have a background in childcare. As a matter of fact, I have a early childcare development degree, and as well as I worked in a daycare, various daycares for maybe, I would say, 8 years and such. So I've made the pivot to childcare, and I plan on offering a fee for service business within the area, offering discounts for siblings and so forth, and perhaps also offering maybe online tutoring, or just anything that is that I'm still also exploring in this as well. What services that I can offer online as additional means for that field. But yeah.
Okay, so Misha, when we talked about this, that you were changing it up and how you would make money, and we talked about the online services that are possible because of what is happening now with post-COVID, is the best way I can put it, right? Although there are some electricity challenges here, of course, and there are internet challenges here, of course, as you all know, there are still there's still a move towards enhancing e-learning at all levels, all the way down from basically nursery school up into higher ed. It is a constant evolution, a constant evolvement. It is still very much in its infancy here, but parents are willing to pay for additional tutoring services and additional education, like if you wanted your child to learn how to program using how to learn binary in a fun way, because there's ways to learn binary in a fun way. You make it games for small children and to get them interested in computing, and or introducing them to visual programming, and that's a program like Scratch made by MIT. So it's something I used when I used to do summer camps for kids. And I say that because parents will pay for this kind of thing in this part of the world at schools that are not necessarily nursery schools, but let's say what they call basic schools here, so primary, starting from kindergarten. So that could be an additional source of income adding on to your brick and mortar school. So I just wanted to reiterate that because me and Misha talked about that, and she's still working through it, right, Misha? You just changed it, so it's still a work in process. But we wanted to Misha, you have something to say, or does anyone else want to add some feedback or a suggestion or a question? And I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, yeah, Misha, just a quick question. Yeah, I think healthcare, or not healthcare, but childcare would be great to offer as a service. So can I assume you're going to get a building and land and all that or you would rent from another place? And then a follow-up question is, I assume this is all daycare and after-school care, possibly, and then allowing people to pay online, et cetera, et cetera. So just.
Great question. To answer your first question, I will start out as a home-based business because moving to Ghana, I will not have the funds to have a brick and mortar and pay rent somewhere else. So I will try to do this home base, preferably for children between the ages of 2 up into preschool age. And I believe your second question was about how to pay, or how to about okay, how to pay. I would pay my teachers in CDs. Well, when I in the state of Georgia, you can have 5 children per one teacher. So I would first have to find out what the rules and regulations are for Ghana, depending on how many children I could have within my home per teacher. If it's the same rules apply, then I can figure that out. But if not, then I would pay the teachers commensurable to what they already pay in Ghana. If it's on a monthly basis or weekly basis, I would research that and find that out, and then pay according to what other providers offer to their teachers as well.
Okay, thank you. No, I was actually, regarding the payment, I was thinking about how would customers, parents pay you? Would they be able to pay on? Would they be able to pay online, stuff like that?
I will try to make it as convenient as I can for the parents. I know, being that the way things are set up in Ghana, if they're able to pay CDs, in my hand, then that's fine. But if it's more convenient for them to pay, I'll take Bitcoin too. I mean, whichever is more convenient, because I'm trying to make a niche for my business coming into a foreign country.
So, guys, when you're talking about doing payments, now this is part of the revenue model as well. But when you're talking about payments here, this is not just for you, Misha. This is just across the board for everyone. Keep in mind that telecommunications is basically phone service, cell phone service, things like that. It's a whole different animal here, because it allows you to be able to use your phone number as if it's a bank, as if it's a virtual wallet, because it is your virtual wallet based on what cell phone provider that you have. And you can have one cell phone provider like Airtel Tigo and make a payment to someone that has an MTN Momo wallet. And so most people will find it most convenient to pay their fees via mobile money versus any other way. And this ties right into the technical component for your business, because this is what's most convenient for people here in this part of the world and in this country, is using Momo. You have 86% penetration of Momo use. Momo means mobile money. It's just shortened. 86% of the population, even people who do not have access to electricity, have a phone with a SIM card that allows them to use mobile money. I hope you guys could hear that and it didn't break up too bad. I'm not sure. So keep that in mind as you move forward. Anyone else have any suggestions or questions? Thanks, guys, for engaging and talking. Felicia and Misha and Michael. I see the rest of y'all there just looking. I know y'all got something to say. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Marlon, we're coming to you next. Anybody else have any questions or suggestions for Misha? Okay, yes, Marlon, you are up. How is your company going to make money?
Can you hear me? Because I was just wondering. Okay. Right. So I'm a IT DevSecOps company.
Marlon, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I don't think you can hear me. That's what I was saying before. I can hear you, yes, but you can't hear me. Everyone else can hear me, I think. Yeah. Yep. I think your audio
I'm not
is gone
sure if I'm
again.
frozen.
You're not frozen. You just can't hear me for some reason.
Yes.
No? Yes? Yeah, we can't hear you. Okay. You can't hear me, I think, right?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. All right. Perfect. Right. So, like I was saying, we're going to be a DevSecOps company. We already run a DevSecOps company here. Our model is we're still trying to figure it out how it's going to work in Ghana. For the most part, in the U.S., you have kind of different tiers where if you hire, say, Google to do DevSecOps work, Google comes in at about $500 an hour. When you go to Google subs, they drop that in half to about $250. So if you can't afford Google, Google will say, okay, we'll send you to a Google partner or AWS partner, and they're going to drop that to about $250. Then when you have someone who have a contract with those partners, again, it drops pretty much in half to about $125 an hour. And from there, companies start offshoring. So the question is from about that range, how can you still outsource business and still make money and still support your guys? So the cap that I'm working with is somewhere below $125, and I'm still trying to figure that out when I get to Ghana, how I can pay for things that are going to be more expensive than here in the US, like electricity and internet connectivity, and still be able to give these international companies a low enough rate that they would consider offshoring to Africa, because a lot of background stuff, there's some risk involved in that, but folks always put those to the side if they can save enough, right? So I've been talking with folks on the ground in Ghana, and I know you can get engineers relatively cheap if you can train them and maintain them. But we are not 100% sure until I get on the ground what that price point is and how I can be competitive. The interesting part about this is that the places that we're really competing with is like India, right? So a lot of these folks are offshoring to India and China. A lot of them are getting out of China and going to India. And India, right now, they're providing a lot of high-tech services for low. So I have to figure out how to compete with those folks and still move. So I haven't totally figured that out yet, but when I get on the ground, I'll be able to see better. Comment? Must be the rain in Ghana, I suppose.
Hey, Marlon. I think that's a great idea. I heard what you said about trying to compete with the Indians and other folks who have a really low. I guess they have low cost, so their profit margin can be higher because they're low cost workers. I was thinking maybe don't compete with them. There's a lot of cases where, and I've learned this from experience, although sometimes people have the technical background to be able to put something together, they're not very good integrators. So integrating one piece with another piece with another piece is sometimes a weakness for them. They have a whole bunch of specialists, but it requires someone who can grab those specialties and integrate them. And if you have that and they don't, that's really your leg up, in my opinion. But other than that, I think what you have is a great idea.
Yeah, that's solid advice. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So I'm sorry, my connection kept going in and out. I came in on the last part and hit back up with the last part where Mike was talking to you, and I did not hear any of it, but I will watch the replay and I'll read over your dev plan and give you feedback that way, because we're not gonna make you repeat all that. But does anyone else have any feedback for him I'm going to mute myself and give you a second if you want to ask something. Okay, Gwen or Gillum, either one of you go. I'm going to mute myself while y'all tag team and decide which business you want to talk about and how you plan to make money. And remember, we had a good discussion and Gwen is on it. That girl can write. She can write a great email explaining everything. So you guys go ahead and talk.
Okay, thank you. So the business will be the agri-tech. So the first business model, we will grow crops and raise chicken. So the first one will be just to sell to restaurants or direct consumers. And the second business model is by subscription. So you pay every week or every month and we deliver the food for you, just to your doors. That's it.
Okay, Gwen, do you want to add anything or do you want others to ask a question first?
I think they can ask the question first and then we can answer that.
Okay, that sounds good. So if anyone has any questions or need clarity,
I have a question. Go ask. How do you plan to get payment for your chickens and for your subscription?
My first idea was to create a website, but Kalaya told us that we only pay 86% pay with mobile money. So right now, I don't know. We will figure it out. Any other questions?
I think I heard you say that you were going to deliver as well.
Yes.
I think that's an excellent idea. I know that a lot of, just based on when I say research, I've heard people say that there aren't addresses in Africa in some countries. So how, and I think GPS doesn't work or maps or something. Yeah. So how do you plan to? Is there a guaranteed time, or because the food gets cold or whatever? Or, I don't know. A common meeting place, Michael says, which is a great idea.
I think we thought the other way. Like we thought about the fact that it's in Africa. We have to have a truck that has to keep the food fresh. It has to be only once a week or once every 2 weeks because we can't rent a truck every day. We can only rent it once in a while. But I don't know what you want to say, Kakalai. But I used to be an intern once for an import.
I will jump in, Gwen.
For an import. I don't know how to say it. Sorry. Okay. I used to send. Well, don't be scared. I used to send buddies from France to Africa, and there was no address. So, and for instruments, you had to put an address. So we used to put any address around, and the people used to say, "Oh, near the bakery, everybody knows it." So I guess we would just do it this way, if that makes sense. Or if you Guillaume, tu veux parler ou pas? Parce que là, je m'en sors pas.
With your smartphone, you have your GPS coordinates, so we can use it and we can choose the nearest place, how can I say, the biggest place that we can say, okay, everyone meet there at 3 p.m. and we will deliver the food for you. This is what we can do as well.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in here and share some things about my own experiences that could be possibly helpful. I think initially, you shouldn't worry yourself about logistics, especially when you're not here on the ground to see how things work and how things are delivered, because that will that can discourage you, and it can make you think things that can't be possible. So don't worry about logistics. If you have a product that needs to get delivered, you can get it delivered, and it's not it's going to be way less expensive than you think, especially with the use of motorcycles here. But I would say for the growing middle class here, and also for all of the foreigners that are coming in, the expats, the young professionals, the folks from the diaspora moving back home or moving to Ghana, people want these type of services, and they don't have reliable access to them. It's the best way I can put it. And so having a model where you can pay for it online, so don't give up using a website and allowing people to use their credit cards, because most of us still use and will continue to use our foreign bank accounts. That means your American accounts, your UK accounts, your French accounts, and that's where your credit cards are linked. It's easier to take payment for those cards, I'll tell you right now, for online businesses than it is to take an African or a credit card from an African bank on these websites. So that's also what makes subscription models kind of confusing right now and a little iffy, but at the same time it's getting better and better depending on what bank you're with. But so don't throw that out, keep that as an option. Secondly, when you're using, everyone here, I know some of y'all will hate that I'm saying this, but I'm gonna say it, WhatsApp is king. I don't care what changes they made to their terms and agreement. I don't care if they're siphoning all your data like a hog every 2 seconds. People are still using WhatsApp for everything. So farmers or those who are working with farmers to sell a product, they will get a list of people who are interested, put them all on one WhatsApp group, because I'm on some of these, and they'll send you out like a menu of items with the price list next to it and just say, we'll deliver this to you on Saturday. Please order by Friday morning, and then send us a pin drop of your location, or what are you by? What's your closest landmark? We will find you when we get there. Ain't no addresses, but the good thing is Ghana GPS. If you don't have that app downloaded, you should download it today. It is basic, but it is good because Ghana GPS aligns with the new digital addresses that are being put and allocated to each and every house, storefront, structure in Ghana, in particular in Accra. And so these little plaques are now starting to pop up on people's houses and on businesses. And if you put that number, those coordinates inside of the Ghana GPS, it will connect you to Google Maps and give you the exact directions to get there. And it actually gets you there. I mean, unless Google Maps is doing one of those weird things where they take you like to Kumasi. That happens too sometimes. But for the most part, it gives you pretty accurate directions of where that place is located. So keep that in mind. I think that what you guys want to do is genius because there is no Blue Apron, HelloFresh, none of that stuff here. And if you're doing it like that, if you're able to not only just sell the food, but if you're able to put a meal plan together and sell people the ingredients for a meal to prepare, you're coming from France. Y'all better give us some of that French stuff, because you know we like to eat it. We like butter, you know. So give us some of that, and people will eat it up, especially if it's healthy. So I guess you can't have butter. It's olive oil. But you know what I mean? People would love that, like me and others like me, because I get asked all the time where and how I can buy food that I can prep for myself with ingredients that I know. So I didn't tell you guys that when we talked in our office hours, but I had just thought about it the other day, and I thought I would share it today. So that's all I have for that. Any feedback or questions or anything, please let us know now. I'm going to mute myself. Oh, no. Guys, how do you feel about that? It's your business. Like, is it too much? Am I telling y'all too much? Like, say something.
No, okay. I thought we were expecting questions. That's why. No, this is a really good idea, and we didn't think about it, but now we will. You talk about Ghana GPS. What is it? I did not understand that part.
So Ghana GPS, one, it is an app. It is an app here in Ghana because Ghana's government decided that in order for Ghana to be more efficient and to develop, each home, each store, each business should have a physical address. And the physical address is digital coordinates. Yes, that's it. That's it. It's digital coordinates. I forgot how many numbers, a series of numbers and letters. Those digital coordinates you could put inside of Ghana GPS, that app he just showed, and then it will show you the exact location where that house or that business is located. And I say that because Gwen talked about her experience working with sending bodies back home that need to be buried and not having an address. And it's crazy that she said that because I was watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Netflix. And they be having all kind of dead bodies. But sorry, I couldn't help but to think of that. But what she said is 100% accurate. That's exactly how it is here. You never know where to send something, but you have to, when you're in the West, provide some type of address so that the package or whatever you're shipping can get here. And that's what happens on the ground here. So that's why I was sharing Ghana GPS with you. All right, anyone else have any questions or feedback for what they're trying to do? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go into the lecture part. Thank you guys all for talking and engaging. This helps all of us to be able to think through ideas, decide on how you want to move forward in different ways, and just to get a more perspectives on what you're doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to share my screen, and I want to talk about the customer problem. Let's see. Now, the reason why I want to talk about the customer problem and the problem statement is because I already have you guys doing exercises when you're thinking through what your business is and the problem that you're solving. I do want to go in a bit more detail with this by introducing the problem statement canvas, because that's part of the homework that you have for this week. And for some of you who have your problem statement created, this just allows you to think more critically about what you've already done. And for those of you who need to still create yours in a more defined way, I'm hoping this could be helpful for you. So I believe you can see my screen. Please nod your head if you can. You can see the PowerPoint? Okay, good. Thank you, guys. I see thumbs up, heads nodding. Okay, great. So for the customer problem and the problem statement, I'm going to jump right into the problem statement. The problem statement is basically what's going on with the customer. Like, what is the issue that they're having and that you're trying to solve? So if someone asks you, what is the issue that you're trying to solve? And you say, okay, I want to be able to do a rideshare company like Uber. So someone could say, as in this example here, the problem I'm trying to solve is people have a huge problem with traffic in Accra. We're going to build the leading ride sharing app for them. So if someone tells me this problem statement, I'm thinking, I have lots of questions about that. Like I want to know why, where are you getting this from? Why can't people just use Uber? So if we drill down more into it, we can find out and understand why a company will come up with something like this. Now I'm providing an example right from the beginning because in my mind, it just helps you to understand clearer what I'm trying to say. The problem statement canvas is what you're looking at on your screen right now. You have a Excel version of this exact same problem statement inside of the week 3 folder. And this particular problem statement is going to ask you to drill down in specific areas. And so based on that example I gave you about creating a ride sharing app, these are some of the examples that would be completed for this particular problem statement if you drill down. So for instance, I go to the first box and what it's asking for is context. Like where does the problem occur? When does the problem occur, basically? And so here the answer is every workday in the mornings and the evenings for an average of 2 to 3 hours per day. So that's basically rush hour, right? And so the next box asks for problem. And so it's basically what is the root cause? Now it doesn't always have to be a root cause. You don't have to always do like a root cause analysis about something at all. You don't have to overthink it. But for this particular canvas that we're working with, the cause here is losing the time in traffic instead of doing something more valuable with your time. The next box talks about alternatives, and the alternative, of course, is to sign up with Uber, right? And so that signing up with Uber is an alternative. So you have to really think through each section. If you think through each section of what your problem is, and you're looking at this problem statement canvas, you should be able to write in here what's going on with what you're trying to solve, whether it's childcare, whether it's IT training or IT consultancy, whether it's DevOps skills training, and solving a problem for organizations who don't have the resources or the people that they need, or if it's for agribusiness and providing something that's new to the market here in Ghana. Because all of you guys are doing something that's new to the market here in Ghana because of the way you're going to do it. So for this particular problem statement, I put this here so that you can have an example when you're thinking through how to complete it on your own. And the reason why I do this is because the customer checklist, the business development plan, this problem statement canvas, all have a sequence that goes together to help you with your end product for your business. And so if you look at the next slide and we think about what was actually put and the answers for the problem canvas, the original statement for the problem statement was people have a huge problem with traffic in Accra. We're going to be building the leading rideshare app for them. After completing the canvas and having more clarity on what it is you're solving and who is the target market, that changes. It becomes more detailed and refined. And that response then becomes young men aged 25 to 35 with middle to low income who live in suburban Accra and work in the city center lose valuable time in traffic, losing on average 40 hours per month. Driving for Uber requires them to spend more time waiting for a ride in the area, as the origin and destination of the trip might not coincide with their home work itinerary. So this company feels that they can solve the problem better than Uber. Can they? Who knows? But this problem statement has been more refined and adding in at the target market, what the problem is, and how they think they can solve it. But mainly the target market and what the problem is. So the reason why I share this with you is because this problem statement canvas can really help you with your business strategy and the possibilities by helping you to see, you know, where there's opportunity for your business, what can trigger a problem or you having a solution for the problem, what an impact can be of what you're doing and how you're going to do it. And then you have to have proof of what are the alternatives outside of what the problem or perceived problem is. And at the end of the day, you really have to understand who is your competition, who are your competitors, and then what is your competitive advantage. And so I say that because I am going to ask you guys to do market research to find out who is doing something similar to what you're doing. And no one can tell me there's no one out there that's doing it, because I've already, first of all, I know several companies that are doing close to what it is that you guys are talking about. Secondly, I researched it myself to make sure nobody can come back and tell me nobody's out there, because somebody is. So when you do your market research spreadsheet to find out who your customers are, who your competitors are, excuse me, you should be able to find that. And so when we talk about the customer problem, we have to look at the customer problem and analyze it. And here I created for you a flow. This is just like a consistent pattern that you look at to think about what it is that you're trying to solve for your problem and why. What is triggering the problem? You know, how is it manifesting? What are the symptoms and how can it be solved? Is there immediate emotional response from people as a whole? Like for food, people desperately want healthy food and the ingredients that they're used to having, but don't typically know where to find things like basil or sage or dill or kale. And if it's easy for them to find these things based on what your business does, then that's a positive. So I wanted to share this with you so that you can complete the problem statement canvas and be able to work on the, what do I call it? Market research. The market research is going to ask you, if you look into week 3 folder, I'm done with this PowerPoint. If you look into week 3 folder, you will see the market research spreadsheet. And there are 3 columns, all say customer problem 1, 2, and 3. The first one is filled out because that's just an example, but the next 2, you all will have to complete that to talk about who your competitors are, what they're doing, and what the market size is, so you know what you're getting into and what's already being done here. And you can find that information on the internet. Okay, so let me go ahead and stop sharing this for a second. All right, questions?
Yes.
Let me mute.
Can you repeat what you just said? You said look in the week 3 folder for something that we're going to use for homework to do our customer problem. Which document were you referring to?
All right, so you said which document for the customer problem. Let me, I'm going to try to pull up the screen to go into week 3 folder. Okay, so I'm pulling up the week 3 folder now. The problem statement canvas, the one you just saw inside of the PowerPoint, is this last document here. I don't know. Okay, no, it's not pulling up. So it's this last document here. I think you can see my cursor on it. And then the market research document is the first one. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. Okay, this one that's about to pull up right now is the market research document. There are 3 columns. Column 1 is sample data that is completed. And this is based on, what is this based on? I think it's based on the security awareness. So like a cybersecurity firm that's focused on security awareness training. And so this whole particular slide is based on that. Now, when I asked you to look up your market, who your competitors are, that means who are your competitors that are working in Ghana. They don't necessarily have to be a Ghanaian owned company, but is their presence in Ghana and they're working in Ghana. So for instance, Deloitte has a presence in Ghana. So if you were a consultancy firm, maybe that could be your one of your competitors. I don't know. Just think of it that way. So you're not just looking for small mom and pops, but you're looking for any organization that's offering similar, if not the exact same services that you are, that would be a direct competitor to your company. And you complete that information in customer problem 2 column and customer problem 3 column. And I think they both say 2. They should say 1, 2, 3, because you're looking for 2 competitors for your business, so that you know who your competition is, and you're not surprised if someone asks you, how are you different from such and such? Any questions about that? Let me go ahead and go off of this. 1 second. 1 second.
I have a question on the addressable market size column. Can you explain what an addressable market size is?
What's the question? I don't think I heard the question.
Okay. Yes, I was referring to the market research document. The second section that says market size, it says market size, segment size, and addressable market size. Can you explain what an addressable market size, what that is? What does that mean?
So what I'm talking about here is how much money is being made from that particular industry. How much money is being made from that industry globally, nationally, and then in the region. So the market size can essentially be, what is the market size globally? Then it can go down to your segment size. So your segment is, let's see, if you're doing cybersecurity, and so for me, if I'm doing cybersecurity, my segment is security awareness or API testing. So that's my segment. So the market itself is cybersecurity. My segment, I drill down, and it's like API testing. Does that make sense?
So segment size is basically like the narrowing down of your market?
Yes. Yes, it is. So what you can do is that there are there are a lot of large organizations that focus on solely looking at the market size and putting a value on that market at a global level, and then they break it down to national level, and then they break it down to regional, and they can drill down from there. I'm trying to think of the large ones. You can do, which ones are here? Fortune, Forbes, God, is it McKinsey? I can't remember. There's so many of them that are out there that focus on really understanding each industry and adding a value to that industry, and it's typically always in dollars. For the tech industry, you can look at some of the reports from the large tech companies like IBM. You can Microsoft, or you can look at the companies that are dealing with what do they have for education? I don't know what they have for primary education, but like for agriculture, you can look at the UN reports that they have for food security or food insecurity, and they'll link you back to other reports that are coming from the World Bank, the African Development Bank. They do all these different type of specialized reports that they have auditors and different people out there to really research these things and put a dollar amount on each and every industry that is out there. And this is for any industry. So you would have to drill down and find that information. And this is why I gave you examples so that you can click them, read them, and use that as a guide based on your particular industry. Oh no, you're soaking wet. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's raining out there, guys, bad. He just got back in the house, sorry. But does that answer your question, Misha?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, so let's go ahead and go to the, one more thing about that market research document. If there's part of this document that has you completely confused, skip that part. But if you skip every part of the document, that just tells me you ain't even trying. So you have to do some of it, but some of it may confuse you if you don't know what an IPO is, or if you're not sure what funding is. Now, technically, you can find out the company, a new startup or a startup that's been in business for like 5 years has raised additional money, because there's going to be publicity out there that's going to be talking about this particular organization raised this much money from these venture capitalists, and the news, Google search will pop it up and you can find it and see it once you know who your competitor is. So you guys should be able to find this information. If in that part you will have to leave blank. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the building team so we can end out talking about our employees, our future employees. So let me share my screen. Okay, building teams. While I was trying to pull up, I'm hoping it pulls up. Oh my God, this rain is so bad. Guys, can you see me? Hear me? Just can you nod or something? Okay, good. Okay, I'm still there. Okay, great. Okay, I thought I froze up and I lost the signal. Okay, guys, so building teams. You know, as we have been talking, that it's important to consider the type of people that you're going to hire and bring on to work in your organization. And this is true no matter where you live in the world. But it's especially true here in Ghana and in Africa as a whole, because you need people that can speak the local language. And you need people who understand, let's say, culture and customs. Now, you don't need these people immediately, but at some point they can be very useful to your business being able to grow and scale. And not only that, like, we can be experts in some things, but we can't be experts in all things. And someone else can have the expertise in an area that you don't, that could be helpful. So when we're talking about hiring here in Ghana, there is, each year they have about, I was just looking at the numbers on this. Graduating from university is about 250,000. Going into secondary school, not secondary, going into the university level schools, so that's higher education, there are almost 500,000 students each year just going in there. As a whole, Ghana has 1.2, I can't even be able to say this, like 1.2 million students in school, from nursery school to higher ed, right now at this moment in time. So when you think about that, there's all these graduates coming out of school and there's not enough jobs for them. So they are starting to get on some of the freelancer platforms that have gone global, like Fiverr. There's another one. I can't think of the other one. There's another one, Work Something. You guys probably know it. I forget the other one, but they're going onto the same freelancer sites that you have in the States and in Europe, trying to get and find work. And then there's some not marketplaces, but some of these kind of freelance platforms that are starting to be created and pop up here in this part of the world, out of Nigeria, for people to be able to find technical work specifically. So there are a lot of unemployed students who are educated, who just need an opportunity and want to be able to work and, make a decent living. Another way you can find skilled folks folks you can train is through recommendations. People are always constantly asking if they can work with you, if you can mentor them. Do you know someone who's hiring in this area? I know this person looking for a job. When you're on the ground, you're going to hear it all the time coming to you from different people at unexpected times. So you can use this as an opportunity to find people that can work within your organization. I think that it's important when you're building teams. Upwork, that's what it was. Upwork was the other freelancer site I couldn't think of. You all know that I'm a big proponent of using social media. So social media is another way you can use to try to find people, especially young people who are always on social media doing different things. Here in Ghana, people will go to social media instead of looking for the website for the company. They'll go to Facebook and they'll go to Instagram to see if they can find information about that company. Now, if you have a website, that's just an additional bonus, but the first place they look is Facebook. Facebook, to me, is more popular here in Africa than it is in the West, even in the US. It is extremely popular here, and people use it for, to get their business out and get information out and to hire. So these are some things to keep in mind when you are looking to build your team and looking for employees. Now, the most important part, we talked before, I believe it was either week 1, week 2, maybe even both the past 2 sessions, about having employees not show up for work, show up late, lay around sleeping, bad customer service. All this takes place because the person whose company is not enforcing or having a set of standards, a set of ethics, a set of ways they expect their employees to behave and have consequences for negative actions. And so you should be specific about how you want your employees to behave by having a code of conduct for them. And I highly suggest you don't tell them, oh, read this and sign it. They're not gonna read it. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They'll sign it, but they're not gonna read it. So you gotta read it together, or you have to talk them through it so they understand what your expectations are and what the consequences are for not meeting those expectations for your business. And once you do that, you'll have better success with your employees, because not all customer service here is atrocious, but not all companies have bad employees. Some companies have good employees because they took time to train them, work with them, talk to them, and help them understand the importance of their behavior and expectations within the company. And when you're dealing with employees here, the employment laws that you have in your respective countries, they do not apply here. Yes, there are employment laws here, but they're not followed, like most things. They're not followed at all. There's a law here that says you have to give an employee 2 weeks notice before you can fire them. Yet, they work in a way here that they fire people at will, meaning that they can fire you at any point in time. You can come to work and they'll tell you, sorry, you no longer have a job, go home. And that's it. There is no severance, there is no back pay, there is no nothing. And you have some, these are bad employers who do this though, this is not what you should do. But they have some employers who don't pay their employees as they should, like the government. Some government organizations, because they all have different, payroll systems, but some of them don't pay their employees the monthly pay that they're supposed to, and they'll be in arrears, and then they have to come up with that pay. Sometimes they do, So it looks to me like I just froze. Please nod if you're still there, because I can't tell. Okay, I see people's thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Okay, so just keep in mind that your expectations of employee laws don't apply in Ghana, but employees are expected to be paid monthly. That's how payments work here. People rarely pay weekly. You do have day laborers though, but they are typically people who do things like construction or landscaping or something like that. Most people are paid monthly. And so to make sure that your employees, are doing what they need to be doing, initially when you first start, it could be helpful for you and beneficial for you to have some kind of accountability process or check-in. So like in tech, you have daily stand-ups for any programming team. So you'll have a programming team or engineering team working on a specific product line. They have a daily stand-up. Even the product managers are required to be at that daily stand-up, and they're talking through what they accomplished, what they need to accomplish, and then doing this every single day until the product is completed, tested, whatever. Sometimes you have to do an agile method when you're working with people in Africa, because they have to understand that every point of the way you need to know what they're doing, that they're doing something that is having a benefit for your business, and that they're earning their pay. Now, will other people tell you that? Probably not, but I'm saying that because this is what I have found working with people. You have to be on them all the time, but once you have accountability, they seem to want to meet the standards. But I will disclaimer, I haven't hired anyone full time. So, I'm only working with people on a project basis. So, but these are my experiences and then what I see and know from others that own businesses here. So again, what happens in your country for employment or taxes is not the same here. Do people have to pay taxes? Yes, they do have to pay taxes. Do you have to pay taxes as a company? Yes, you do have to pay taxes. How do they collect those taxes? That is the question that no one really answers for me, and it's always fun. But once I get a firm answer, I'll let you know. There's supposed to be a process for you to be able to fill out tax forms. and be able to pay the taxes that you owe like the 25% for your business. But it is definitely strange here when it comes to the business taxes. So I just wanted to put that out there so that you're prepared and you won't be in shock when you realize that processes and procedures are not in place nor enforced the way they are in the West. So that also applies to business law, but you guys are, as I am, foreigners in this country. So we need to do our best to abide by their laws and standards here. The best that we can to make sure that our businesses are effective. So are there any questions? Because I think that talking about employees and for our businesses are important because this is a different animal. Africa is not like what you all are used to in the Western countries where you are. I'm going to mute myself.
I have a question.
I have a question. Oh, go ahead. You go first.
Oh, thank you. So let's say there is an employee who does something wrong and you have other employees. So do you have, first question, what is the best reaction to have? I mean, you don't react the same in France or in Japan or in Ghana or whatever. So what is the best reaction to have? And what is the best reaction to have with the other employees as well?
So I think that is really up to the owner. I will tell you how I would react. Depending on what they did, actually, if I know that they did something wrong, like stole from me, because that happens all the time here, especially with physical items, I would have to talk to that person privately and find out what is going on. Because sometimes here, when people are stealing petty things like food, it's because they don't have any, or because they don't have enough for their family. So if you're talking about these things and understanding what the problem is, maybe you can find a solution. But if they're just being greedy or just being, evil, then you need to let them know that in private that what you did is unacceptable and this is the consequences. The consequences can be you can't work for me anymore, or the consequence can be you're suspended, right? Or you can just say, look, this is your warning. And if I have to talk to you again, I'm going to have to let you go. But that is up to you. I personally feel that everyone should be addressed with respect, regardless of what they did and in private. But you will find here that people will talk to adults in such a demeaning way in front of everybody. And it's so crazy and rude. To me, it's just rude. But I just feel that you can have a conversation with people, but you have to have a consequence. Because if they think they can run over you, if they think they can get away with something, they're going to keep doing it over and over again. It's like a kid who's constantly eating all the cookies. And his mom keeps telling him, stop eating those cookies because you're going to turn into Cookie Monster. And they keep eating the cookies. And then one day he goes, there ain't no more cookies because he ate all the cookies. And then he got his butt beat eating those cookies. Okay, consequences. But you have to have consequences for the employees. And I know I'm simplifying and making a bit of a joke about it, but here it is essential because you want to make sure that your business can be successful and doesn't have like a reputation based on one person's actions. Okay, I'm gonna mute again.
Okay, thank you.
My question is, are you required as an employer to provide health insurance or any type of insurance to your employees? The second question that I have is with project-based employees. When it's time to file taxes, do you have to give them like a 1099 form? You know, being that they're not full-time or part-time, I guess they would be contract-based, project-based employees. Are you required yearly to give them some type of document in regards to that, or does it not work like that in Ghana?
It doesn't work like that. Like when I said that things don't work the same way they do in the States here, I'm serious. I'm hella serious, like hella serious. Like it don't work like that here. No, there's no health insurance. There is a national health insurance scheme that has been created, and I believe that's only maybe 2 years old now, and people can buy into it through the government, but an employer is not required to provide that. An employer is not required to have unemployment. Yes, taxes are taken out. But that even depends on the business type and how you have it set up. If the taxes are going to be taken out the employee's check before you pay them, or I don't know. It's so many different ways you can do this with the Ghana Revenue Authority. It's not as streamlined as it is in Western countries. So it's hard for me to answer this very directly because it's so different from what we know. It's just completely opposite. The EU, so France, Germany, Spain, UK, US, Canada, Australia, all have their systems set up almost identical. It's so similar how it's set up. Of course, the EU allows for way more people to have good mental health because they can freaking take vacations and stuff and have time off and all this stuff. And the employment laws are way stricter than they are in the US. But at the same time, my point is there's processes and procedures and standards in place that are automatic. And like you mentioned, this 1099 form, you don't have these kind of forms there. So no, you don't do any of that. None of this applies. You typically will have a contract with your employee, at least you should, but everyone doesn't do that. Some people, it's just verbal. It's just a verbal conversation, an agreement, and that's it. So that's just the best way I can answer your question at this point. What I will try to do is see if I can find, get someone who I know works at the GRA who'll be willing to talk to us. And you can ask some of these questions directly. This will be later on down the road in the program because I'm trying to work on that. I can't ask anything completely directly. So I have to work up to it and see if he'll agree to it. Because that would be a better person to really answer because they work within that organization. But it's very, very, there's so many fine lines here that's just the best way I can answer that for right now. Next one, please.
Okay, my questions are kind of off topic from the building teams, but well, not necessarily. Wait a minute. You said something about Africa uses Facebook a lot for hiring and advertising services. Just generally, I have a question, just your opinion about the fact that Twitter is moving to Ghana. And just generally how you think that's gonna affect Ghana in general, and then businesses who already are using Facebook, is Ghana heavily Twitter already? I don't know. And then second question is swapping weeks. You said something earlier way at the beginning and I missed it, and I just want to make sure I know which weeks we're swapping. And I think, the WhatsApp group. Can we get a WhatsApp group? So that was 3 questions. Twitter, swapping weeks, and WhatsApp group.
Yeah, you're not gonna let that go, are you? Okay, so The Twitter. You asked so many questions. Let me see. First one. I don't even remember what the first one was. I remember Twitter though. Twitter. I think, so for me personally, I can tell you right now, Ghana has a growing infrastructure for technology. And that is a positive. Ghana is extremely safe to live. You don't hear about kidnappings or war or any of this nonsense in Ghana. The African Continental Free Trade Secretariat, which means the office, is located in Ghana. These are all positives. Ghana has a stable government with a president who is very open for foreign investment and wants large organizations to come into it. So that's a positive. For the most part, I may be having shaky internet, but if you're inside of the city of Accra where the businesses are located, they have fiber optic internet, and they have good quality, stable internet, which allows for you to be able to do business, and the cost of living is much cheaper than Nigeria. Nigeria, I mentioned them because they have the largest population in Africa is in Nigeria. Nigeria also has one of the largest population of Twitter users in Africa. But again, it is unstable because you have part of the country going through, craziness all the time. You have kidnappings every 2 minutes, and it's super expensive to live in Lagos. So they can have the talent that they want, including Nigerians, that they can pull from that tech talent pool and bring them to Ghana and let them live here. And or because Twitter lets you work remotely, they can still live in Nigeria and work in Ghana. Twitter's focus is Nigeria and the rest of Africa, of course, but their primary focus is Nigeria. That's why the job listings that they have right now for Twitter, because I've seen them, they get sent to me all the time. They are asking people to speak Hausa, Yoruba, or Igbo. Those are all Nigerian tribes and languages. And those are the languages that they want people to speak or understand and know when they're creating content, dealing with data creation and all the different jobs that they have right now for Twitter. Because Twitter is hiring. So it's very beneficial for Ghana. We'll see how it plays out because Ghana doesn't enforce regulation, which could be also extremely dangerous. Because Ghana doesn't enforce regulation, Twitter is a powerhouse. I'm pretty sure Twitter's value for the company, I think, is the same, if not more, than the whole GDP for Ghana, which means that one company has more money than the entire nation of Ghana. So, it's kind of like you don't know what's going to happen until they get here. But, at the end of the day, I think it's a good thing. WhatsApp group. All right, fine. I'm still thinking about it. You're gonna break me down in a minute. And what's the next one? What's the next one? You asked me so many questions. I forgot.
The last one was can we? You mentioned swap. Thank you, by the way, for your insight on Twitter. I think it's a good thing too. And then thank you for the WhatsApp. And then swapping weeks. I didn't catch which weeks we're swapping at the beginning.
Okay, yes, the swapping of the weeks. Week 7, I swapped week 3 and week 7. So the content we covered today was initially for week 7. And so I switched it. So we will be doing pitching on week 7 instead of building teams. Okay, guys, we're getting close to the end of the night. I want to answer as many questions as I can. I think I answered all Felicia's questions. I saw a thumbs up, so I think she's happy now. All right now. Good. Any other questions that you guys have? And because this is the time to be asking them about the content that we talked about today. I'm gonna mute.
I'm gonna go. Earlier we spoke about, well, in passing, about banks and funding from banks. From what I've heard and what I've read, you can potentially get funding, but the interest rates are usually out the roof. When I've spoken to folks on the ground, the absolute last thing that they ever mention is any money from any bank. So I was wondering if you can comment on that.
Okay, so when you're talking about funding, you must be talking about loans right now. So if you're talking about loans, Marlon, shake your head. Business loans. Okay, if I were you, I would never get a business loan here in Ghana. The interest rates are like 25% and higher. That is insanity. Do you hear me? Pure insanity. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. If anything, try to go for the organizations who have some type of development happening in Ghana. And when I say development, I mean the development that aligns directly to the UN development goals. That's United Nations development goals, which we will go through, I think that's next week actually. And these are organizations like MasterCard, Visa, Accenture, I think it's called USAID, EU Development, EU Aid Fund for Africa. And I say this because they provide grant funding. They provide free money for you to do things that meet those UN development goals, like technology and innovation, like economic growth and jobs, and like clean food, sustainability, agriculture. They have very specific focus, like in solar and things of that nature. And they give out money for free because Africa is still developing, Ghana is still developing. This is true for all of the African countries, not just West Africa. So true for the Francophone countries, the North African countries, all of them have some different initiatives that are being focused on, and they want companies, consultants to do these things. So these are options, because I would not say get a loan. That's why I say use your own money. If you still have to work a full-time job while you're building your business, do that, because these loans are predatory. These are predatory loans, 25% interest. Some of the loans go as high as 40% interest for business loans. And it's why young African entrepreneurs are like, it's crazy trying to be an entrepreneur when you need to buy equipment or you need to grow and you can't get the funding, which is why they try to do accelerator programs in Europe, or they try to do accelerator programs in Canada or the US, because some of those accelerator programs come with venture capital funding that will allow them to be able to get the funding they need to grow and scale. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'll take one more question before we end the night. All right, guys, you know how I like to do it. I want to get us out here on time or early. Thank you. I appreciate all of you for being patient when my internet kept going in and out constantly and y'all still kept it flowing. That's what I'm talking about. It will still record, which is a good thing. So have a good weekend, a good rest of the week. Please do your homework and turn it in before the last day, because y'all killing me, people. Y'all killing me. Thank you, guys. Have a good week. Bye. Bye. Okay.